I started writing the blog back in 2012, so we'd already had the boys for 2 years then. At the time, we were thinking of coming back to Singapore ourselves, so I was looking at a job as a teacher over here. I teach back in the UK now, and Ed was also looking at whether or not his bank transferred him. We then had to look at the fact that Singapore doesn't recognise same-sex marriage and therefore wouldn't recognise same-sex adoption. So what would happen with we have two children, so what would happen with the two boys when we came back? And so once we started looking at the reality of that and making that discussion with Adrian and Tracy, they suggested, well, this is a story that we feel needs to be told and needs to be shared. The reality of political decisions, really, without being overly political, the fact that families are being kept apart, that the children couldn't be with their grandparents and that we couldn't come back to be with Ed's family, you know.
We've always wanted children, but at different point in time of our lives, and we've agreed that until it comes to a point where both of us want it at the same time, then that's where we'll start. I mean, life does take over, but with any other couple, at some point in time, you do come to a junction where you think we've got to do it. Either we do it now, or we will miss the opportunity to do it. Because kids do grow up really quickly, right? So when we moved back to London, we decided that it was right time, for both of us, and so we started that process, not knowing how difficult that process was going to be, obviously.
As a stay-at-home parent, I started reading a lot of other people's blogs and input and things like that, and found a lot of it was very negative. A lot of it was about the problems of adoption, this, and the problems the children bring and the baggage. And I thought, actually, we need to have something that looks at the positive side of it as well.
Actually, what we're looking for is just situational, like if this happens, what can we do about it? So we were trying to come up with a way to provide that sort of sharing of guidance and what we can do or what others can do in similar situations, but in a more lighthearted, in a more welcoming way, and it doesn't have to be that negative, and that's how we started that blog.
I wrote it as a kind of a light-hearted look at adoption, and that's what my intention was, and it just really took off. I mean, it amazed me just the response that we got even initially.
I hope that the audience would think about that our family is just like any other family, that we would go through any same issues with children, with ourselves, and family comes in all shapes and sizes, which is what is the story that we're trying to tell, is that it's not just about a gay couple having children. It's also about a single mom, it's about single dad, it comes in different sizes. It doesn't matter. The focus should be on the children, having a supportive family, being loved and being able to have the opportunity to thrive in the family. I hope the story would inspire anyone out there who wish to have a family to not be bogged down by what the society thinks, and to focus on just the child. And as long as they can provide a loving family home for them, just go ahead and do it and be brave and just go do it.
I think at the end of the day, it's about being inclusive. And being inclusive doesn't just mean, couples themselves, but when we say being inclusive, we mean the entire family. The different types of family, and, not whether or not you approve of us or disapprove or whatever, but the fact that the other people are involved, the extended family, the children, their grandparents, how, we are being all kept apart.